Is the Philippines secretly taking over the US? Walk into certain American cities, and you might do a double take. Jollibee on every corner, Titus chismizing over Halo Halo, and the smell of sizzling sisig filling the air. These aren't just neighborhoods anymore. They're full-blown little Manilas. But why are Filipinos migrating in record numbers? What's behind this unstoppable wave? And which US city is practically drowning in Filipino culture? You won't believe number one. Stick around, this deep dive will blow your mind. New here? Welcome, Kabayan. Hit subscribe and join the Inside Report fam. Already with us? Smash that like button. Let's get started. Ever walked through Chicago and caught the unmistakable scent of sizzling lumpia? Or maybe you've stumbled upon a Jollibee with a line wrapped around the block. If so, congratulations, you've just experienced the undeniable presence of Filipino-America in the Windy City. Chicago isn't just home to deep dish pizza and jazz. It's also where over 110,000 Filipinos have built a thriving community, one adobo pot at a time. And let's be real, this city wouldn't be the same without them. Ask any longtime Chicagoan about Filipinos in the city, and they'll likely mention one thing. Nurses. It all started back in the late 60s when a wave of skilled Filipino medical professionals arrived after US immigration laws changed. Today, walk into any hospital, and chances are a Filipino nurse is there, taking care of patients with warmth and dedication. It's in the DNA of Chicago's Filipino story. But Chicago's Filipino scene is more than just hospitals. It's a cultural powerhouse. Ever been to the Fiesta Pinoy Festival? Imagine a sea of barongs, karaoke competitions where your Tito swears he sounds like Bruno Mars, and the best homemade pancit you'll ever eat. And don't even get me started on Filipino-American History Month. Every October, the city transforms into a Filipino fiesta, making sure younger generations stay connected to their roots while sharing the culture with everyone else. It's Chicago, but with a Filipino heartbeat. So if you ever find yourself in the Windy City, just follow the sound of Tagalog, the aroma of garlic rice, and the warmth of a community that has made this place their own. Are you from Chicago, or maybe you got K-Bayans there? Let us know in the comments, and if you haven't yet, hit that like, subscribe, and stay tuned for the next city on our list. Close your eyes and picture this: the sizzle of fresh taquino on a hot pan, the smell of warm pandesal floating through the air, the sound of laughter as a group of kababayans breaks into an impromptu karaoke battle outside a Filipino restaurant. You're not in Manila, you're in Riverside-San Bernardino, where the Filipino community isn't just thriving, it's taking over. With over 116,000 Filipinos calling this place home. It's as if a piece of the Philippines has been carved out and planted right here in Southern California. But why here? Why not LA or San Diego? Stick around because this story is one you won't want to miss. Meet Raya, a 32-year-old nurse from Quezon City. She had two dreams: to build a better future in America and never lose touch with her Filipino roots. But when she first landed in California, reality hit hard. Rent in LA was sky high, and everything felt too fast, too foreign. She needed a place that felt like home. Then she found Riverside. Within weeks, she was working at a hospital where Tagalog filled the break rooms and potlucks meant trays of sagong, lumpia, and adobo. She moved into an apartment where her neighbors were fellow Filipinos who invited her over for lakan every holiday. She wasn't just surviving, she was thriving. And Ria, she's just one of thousands. Nurses, caregivers, engineers, entrepreneurs, they've built a Filipino empire here. Step into Riverside's Bonito, and you'll feel it. Seafood City is packed every weekend, filled with moms haggling over fresh bangus while kids beg for chalk nut at the checkout. Tita-owned restaurants serve up sizzling sisig and Halo Halo, bringing flavors of home to every street corner. Filipino festivals turn entire parks into mini Manila, complete with tinikling OPM concerts, and, of course, the ultimate Lecan showdown. Balikbayan boxes pile up at every LBC shipping center, filled with spam, sneakers, and love letters to family back home. Here, being Filipino isn't just about where you came from, it's about where you are. So what makes Riverside-San Bernardino the ultimate Filipino hub? Affordable homes, a place where Filipino families can finally buy their dream house. Endless job opportunities, especially in healthcare, tech, and business. A tight-knit community. Because nothing feels better than hearing "Kamusta" from a friendly stranger. It's a perfect mix of the American dream and Filipino tradition, a place where you can build a future without leaving your culture behind. And here's the best part: Riverside-San Bernardino is just the beginning, because up next, we're heading to a city where Filipinos don't just blend in, they dominate, a place where the culture runs so deep, it might as well be an extension of the homeland. Don't even think about clicking away. Smash that like button, and let's keep this journey going. Seattle, where the rain is constant, the coffee is strong, and the Filipino presence unshakable. With nearly 126,000 Filipinos calling the city home, Seattle isn't just a place. It's a living, breathing extension of the Philippines. Walk through Beacon Hill and you'll hear Tagalog being spoken on street corners. Step into a Filipino restaurant in White Center, and you'll smell the unmistakable aroma of adobo and chicharon. Visit a community gathering in South Seattle, and you'll feel the warmth of Filipino hospitality. But here's what's really crazy. This didn't happen overnight. It took generations of grit, sacrifice, and an unwavering spirit to turn Seattle into one of the most thriving Filipino hubs in America. And that's what you're about to hear. So if you haven't already, hit that like button, subscribe, and stay with me until the end, because what you'll learn today is something you'll want to share. Let's rewind to the 1920s. Filipino immigrants arrived in Seattle with little more than hope and determination. Many found work in Alaskan canneries, slaving away in freezing conditions for pennies. Others toiled in the agricultural fields of Washington, breaking their backs to make ends meet. And despite the odds, they built something incredible. They weren't just workers, they were pioneers. They formed communities, opened businesses, fought for their rights, and slowly but surely, they made Seattle their own. Fast forward to today. Seattle's Filipino footprint is everywhere, from the nurses staffing the hospitals to the entrepreneurs launching restaurants and tech startups. Filipinos are shaping this city. Let me tell you a story, a real one. Lou Ben came to Seattle in the 1970s with nothing but a suitcase and a dream. He worked 3 jobs, slept on a couch in a friend's apartment, and sent every extra dollar back home to the Philippines. For 10 years, he sacrificed everything. And then, he built an empire. First, it was a tiny sari-sari store. Then, a Filipino restaurant. Then, a second restaurant. Fast forward to today. His family owns 3 businesses, employs dozens of people, and carries his legacy forward. Lou Ben's story? It's not unique. It's the story of thousands of Filipinos in Seattle's sacrifice, hustle, success. And that is why this community isn't just surviving, it's thriving. So, why do Filipinos keep choosing Seattle? Endless job opportunities, a strong community, and food that feels like home. From healthcare to tech, Seattle offers one of the best job markets. Filipino markets, churches, and community centers make it feel like you never left the Philippines. And the support system, unmatched. Whether you need a job, a place to stay, or just a warm meal, there's always someone ready to help. And let's be real, the food alone is worth staying for. If you haven't had a sizzling plate of sisig from Hood Famous or a bowl of pancit from Oriental Mart, are you even experiencing Seattle properly? But here's the real question. If you think Seattle is packed with Filipinos, what if I told you the next city on our list is even more Filipino? Entire neighborhoods, streets lined with Filipino businesses, and a community so strong, it feels like you've stepped straight into Manila. Any guesses where? Keep watching. You won't believe it? Hold up, San Jose. Wait. This city, with all its tech hype and startup dreams, is actually home to 142,000 Filipinos. No way! That's insane! I mean, when you think Silicon Valley, you think tech, right? Google, Apple, Tesla. But Filipinos? Seriously? I had no idea. But now that I'm diving into it, here's the crazy part. Filipinos are taking over Silicon Valley, and it's not just about surviving, they're absolutely crushing it. Let's talk about Raymond for a second. This guy came here 10 years ago with a backpack and a dream. That's it. Now, he's leading a team at one of the biggest tech firms in Silicon Valley. Raymond's not just a tech worker, he's one of the people shaping the future of technology. And he's far from the only one. Filipinos here aren't just taking jobs, they're creating the future. We're talking engineers, software developers, entrepreneurs. They're leading the way. This is a community of doers, dreamers, and innovators. But here's what really hit me. San Jose is not just about tech. It's a cultural phenomenon. Filipino restaurants are everywhere. Family-owned businesses serve up the most mind-blowing lakon and halo you can imagine. And let's not forget the fiestas. There's a Filipino pride here that's like nothing else. Karaoke on every corner with everyone singing their hearts out. It's a celebration of family, culture, and success, all wrapped up in one. And I gotta say, I was shocked to learn that San Jose is now one of the top cities for Filipino immigrants to make it big in the tech world. This place is exploding with opportunity. It's a launchpad for the next generation of Filipino professionals. This city is becoming a Filipino powerhouse, and I didn't see it coming. Now, if you're still sleeping on San Jose, you're about to get left. Trust me, this is just the beginning. Smash that like button because the next city is going to blow your mind. Stick with me. This is just the tip of the iceberg. Wait, Las Vegas? Of all the places where Filipinos are making waves, I never would have guessed that Sin City is home to a staggering 148,000 Filipino-Americans. That's massive, but here's what's even crazier. Filipinos aren't just living here. They're running the show behind the scenes. Think about it, the glitz, the glamour, the billion-dollar casinos. Behind every sparkling chandelier and high-rolling poker table, Filipinos are the backbone of it all. Hotels, restaurants, and entertainment venues wouldn't function without them. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. Take Liza, for example. She arrived in Vegas with zero connections and barely any money, just hoping to land a job. Fast forward a few years, and she's not just working at a casino. She's running the floor, calling the shots, and making moves in an industry dominated by power players. And she's not alone. Thousands of Filipinos have climbed the ranks, turning what started as just a job into a thriving career. But here's the part that really blew my mind. Las Vegas feels like a Filipino city in disguise as we walk through certain neighborhoods. And you'll see Filipino-owned bakeries selling fresh pandesal, restaurants packed with people eating sinigang and lakon, and gatherings where the karaoke is loud. The food is endless, and the sense of home is undeniable. Vegas isn't just a tourist playground. It's a Filipino success story in the making, and it's only getting bigger. The demand for skilled workers in hospitality, food service, and entertainment is growing, and Filipinos are seizing the opportunity like never before. But here's the real shocker. There's another U.S. city where Filipinos are quietly taking over and hardly anyone is talking about it. Stick around because what I'm about to reveal next will absolutely blow your mind. Smash that like button. Trust me, you're going to want to hear this. All right, real talk. If I blindfolded you, dropped you in the middle of San Diego, and told you to guess where you were, you'd probably say somewhere in California, right? But what if I told you that in some parts of this city, you might think you just landed in Manila? Don't believe me? Walk into National City and boom, you'll see Jollibee, a Filipino supermarket, and at least 3 aunties fighting over the last bag of frozen bangus. It's wild. And here's the kicker. Over 202,000 Filipinos call San Diego home. That's not a small town. That's an entire Filipino nation tucked away in California. But how did so many Filipinos end up here? Well, the U.S. Navy played a massive role. Let me introduce you to Tito Ben. This man came here in the 80s with a duffel bag, a dream, and a deep love for karaoke. He joined the U.S. Navy like thousands of other Filipinos and worked his way up, eventually bringing his whole family over. Now, he's retired, runs a Filipino food truck called Syrup to the Bone, and is still undefeated at every family karaoke night. And let's be real, Filipinos in San Diego thrive. You've got Filipino nurses, teachers, entrepreneurs, and probably at least one Tito who owns a mechanic shop but only accepts cash. Now, I gotta ask, if you're Filipino and live in San Diego, what's the best place to eat? Drop your recommendations in the comments, because I know y'all got strong opinions on this. Oh, and don't go anywhere. San Diego is huge, but there's another city Filipinos have taken over even more. All right, be honest, when you think of Honolulu, Hawaii, what's the first thing that comes to mind? Beaches, hula dancers, maybe a pineapple wearing sunglasses? But here's something that'll blow your mind. Honolulu isn't just a tropical paradise for tourists, it's a full-blown Filipino stronghold. Around 225,000 Filipinos live here. Yeah, you heard that right. That's not just a community. That's practically a Filipino province in the middle of the Pacific. And if you've ever been to Waipahu, Kalihi, or Iwa Beach, then you know I'm not lying. You step outside and you'll see a Tahoe vendor on the corner, a Filipino bakery selling pandesal, and at least one Tito wearing his best going out slippers, the fancy ones. Now, let me tell you about 8 Marids. She came to Honolulu from Cebu in the late 90s thinking she'd only stay for a year. Fast forward 25 years. She's got a house, 3 kids, a thriving Filipino restaurant, and she still doesn't trust her youngest son to cook adobo the right way. But here's what's really crazy. Filipinos have been shaping Honolulu for over a century. They first came as plantation workers back in the early 1900s, and now they're everywhere. From healthcare to hospitality, from business to government, Filipinos helped build this city, and their culture is woven into everything. Even Hawaiian Pidgin has Tagalog words in it now. Now, let's settle a debate. Who has better BBQ, Hawaii or the Philippines? Drop your answer in the comments, and don't start a family war over it. And trust me, if you thought Honolulu had a massive Filipino community, wait till you see what's coming next. Smash that like button and stick around. You won't believe which US city is basically Little Manila. Let's get something straight. New York City is chaos. It's fast, loud, crowded, and smells like pizza, ambition, and Mystery Street water all at the same time. But guess what? Filipinos thrive here. 237,000 Filipinos call NYC home. That's more people than some entire islands in the Philippines. And honestly, you can find Filipinos everywhere. In hospitals, Wall Street offices, Broadway theaters, and, let's be real, in every bodega asking if they sell rice. Now let me tell you about Kuya Jar. He moved to NYC from Quezon City with $200, a suitcase, and a dream to make it big. At first, culture shock, everything was too fast, too expensive, and he almost got tackled by a taxi on day 1. But now, he's a nurse by day, DJ by night, and somehow still finds time to hit up Jeepney or Maharlika for some late-night sisig. And let's talk about Filipino food in NYC. It's on another level. You can get lechon in Queens, halo in the East Village, and if you're really lucky, you might just find an underground balut dealer in Brooklyn. But the wildest thing? There's even a Filipino parade in Manhattan. That's right, every year, Filipinos shut down Madison Avenue to rep their culture like it's a Manny Pacquiao fight night. So here's my question for you. What's the best Filipino restaurant in NYC? Drop your favorites in the comments because I know y'all have strong opinions. Why does San Francisco feel so Filipino? Think about it. You walk through Daly City, and what do you hear? A group of Titos arguing about who makes the best lumpia. You step into a bakery, and boom, fresh pandesal. You hop on public transport, and somebody's definitely FaceTiming their family back home at full volume. But here's the kicker. Over 313,000 Filipinos live in the Bay Area, and they're not just chilling. They've been here for generations, shaping the city's culture, food, and history. So why here? Back in the early 1900s, Filipinos started arriving in SF looking for work, mostly in agriculture and service industries. But the real explosion came when U.S. military veterans from the Philippines moved in after World War. They built communities, businesses, and, let's be honest, probably the first lechon supply chain in California. 2 words, Daly City. If you've never been, imagine a place where Jollibee is on speed dial, karaoke is a competitive sport, and Puno means you still have 30 minutes to get ready. But it's not just Daly City. South of Market, Soma is rich with Filipino history, with spots like Bindelestive Studio and the Filipino Cultural District keeping the culture alive. Oh, and did I mention the Adobo Festival? Yeah, that's a thing. Now, here's a question. If you could only eat one Filipino dish for the rest of your life, what would it be? And no, you can't say rice. That's cheating. Drop your answer in the comments, but stick around because the next city on this list, even more Filipinos, and you won't believe where it is. This is it. If there's one city in the US where you're guaranteed to run into Filipinos at every corner, it's Los Angeles. Nearly 570,000 Filipinos live here. Let that sink in. That's more than 500,000. At this point, LAA isn't just a city with Filipinos. It's basically Metro Manila with better freeways. Well, sometimes. So why Los Angeles? Simple: opportunity, community, and Jollibee. Filipinos have been making their mark in LA for decades, from early waves of nurses and teachers to the entrepreneurs, entertainers, and influencers dominating today. The city offers jobs, sunshine, and enough Filipino restaurants to make you forget you're 7,000 miles away from home. But here's the real question. Where do you find the best Filipino food in LA? Is it sarap, Max's? Or do you have a secret hole-in-the-wall spot only real ones know about? Drop your favorites in the comments. First up, historic Filipino-American file. The heart of Filipino culture in LA, packed with markets, community centers, and enough Turon to fuel an entire basketball team. But that's just the beginning. Head to Eagle Rock, Carson, or West Covina, and you'll find neighborhoods filled with Filipino families, businesses, and some of the best lechon kawali outside the Philippines. And let's not forget, Filipinos are running the LA entertainment scene. From singers to actors to YouTube stars, their influence is everywhere. Now, here's the real question. If you've been to LA, where's the best Filipino food? Is it sarap, Max's, or do you have a secret hole-in-the-wall spot only real ones know about? Drop your favorites in the comments and tell me, what's the one Filipino dish you'd eat for life? Experiences for first-timers in the Philippines. If you're planning a trip to the Philippines, get ready for a mix of breathtaking sights, incredible food, and a culture that feels like home. Even if it's your first visit, here are some must-try experiences that will make your trip unforgettable. The Philippines is home to over 7,000 islands, so skipping the beaches would be a crime. Palawan's El Nido and Coron offer crystal-clear waters and secret lagoons, while Boracay is famous for its powdery white sand. Looking for adventure, Siargao is the ultimate surf spot. Must-try Filipino food and festivals you can't miss. One of the best ways to experience the heart of the Philippines is through its food and festivals. Filipino cuisine is all about bold flavors and comforting, home-cooked goodness, while the country's festivals bring its rich culture to life with vibrant colors, music, and unshakable community spirit. If you're visiting, here's what you absolutely need to try and experience. Filipino food is a perfect mix of sweet, sour, salty, and savory flavors, making every meal an adventure. Here are some dishes that should be at the top of your list. Lechon, if there's one dish that defines Filipino feasts, it's lechon, a whole roasted pig with crispy, golden skin and tender, juicy meat. It's often the star of celebrations, and if you want the best, Cebu's the place to go. Sinigang, this comforting, tamarind-based soup, is a Filipino favorite, known for its perfect balance of sourness and warmth. It's usually made with pork, shrimp, or fish, and packed with fresh vegetables. Perfect for a rainy day. Adobo, the undisputed national dish of the Philippines. Adobo is chicken or pork slow-cooked in a flavorful mix of soy sauce, vinegar, garlic, and spices. Every Filipino household has its own version, and no two adobos taste exactly the same. Halo, if you need to cool down in the tropical heat, this is the ultimate Filipino dessert. A wild mix of shaved ice, sweet beans, ubi lishi flan, and more. Halo is as fun to eat as it is delicious. Jollibee's Chicken Joy, it may be fast food, but Filipinos swear by it. Jollibee's crispy, juicy fried chicken has a cult following, and if you've never tried it, you're seriously missing out. Grab it with their famous gravy and sweet-style spaghetti for the full experience. Filipinos love to celebrate, and if you visit at the right time, you'll witness some of the most vibrant, high-energy festivals in the world. From elaborate street parades to lively dancing and endless feasting, here are some festivals that will give you a true taste of Filipino culture. Sinulog Festival Say, January, one of the biggest and most colorful festivals in the Philippines. Sinulog is a grand street parade featuring lively dancers in bright, elaborate costumes, celebrating the Santo Niño, Child Jesus. Expect non-stop music, street parties, and an electrifying atmosphere. Atiatianhan January, often called the mother of all festivals, this event features performers with face paint and tribal-inspired costumes dancing through the streets to the beat of drums. If you love crowd participation and street dancing, this festival is a must-see. Pahayas Festival Age Row, May. If you're in the Philippines in May, don't miss Pahayas, a festival that turns an entire town into an artistic wonderland. Houses are decorated with colorful rice wafers, ipin fruits, and fresh produce to celebrate a bountiful harvest. It's one of the most visually stunning and unique festivals in the country. Which Filipino experience is at the top of your list? Would you go for a steaming plate of lechon or dive into the wild energy of the Sinulog Festival? Let me know in the comments. Filipinos are known for being some of the friendliest people in the world. Don't be surprised if a local invites you to their home for a meal or insists you try their homemade lumpia. It's all part of the Bayanihan spirit, helping and welcoming others like fam. So if you've never been to the Philippines, what's the first thing on your must-do list? Drop your answer in the comments.